Hey everyone, this is Benjamin here from the African Geek, and you are welcome to this fantastic video. In today's video, we are going to be doing something very different from what I usually do, which is creating Canva tutorials and also with design tool reviews. So this particular video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be designing a carousel that will be shared on my Instagram page. Okay, and instead of just making the carousel, I was just thinking that it would be good to walk you through how I get to design my carousels and explain why I do certain things in my carousels. Okay, so if this is something you want to learn or you also want to know, stay tuned and I will be right back after my intro. Okay, so you can see I was already in it, about to start, but if you want to join me, what you can do is you can just come to create a design and choose custom size. Okay, and all you need to do is to enter 1080 by 1350. That's what I also use for my carousels. Okay, and in here the main font I always use for my carousels is Grief 800, and I know some of you keep saying you are not able to find this font inside of Canva. So the other font you can use are Anton, and you can also use Bibas Nui. Okay, so these two fonts are fonts you can also use. Recently I made a post on my Instagram, and in that post I recommended some fonts you could use for your titles, so you can also check it out on Instagram if you want to have more ideas on certain fonts you can use for your titles. Okay, with that being said, let's get started. So the title of my font is going to be 3 determinants for Canva designers. Okay, and I'm just going to type it down quickly, so I'll just duplicate this one. Okay, now you can just see determinant for Canva designers, and I'll reduce the size and post it here. Okay, so normally what I do is I like to get a theme for my carousels. Okay, and with this one, what I started thinking about was to get a magician or someone who's into tricks. Okay, so photos that relate to that kind of theme, and I found this interesting photos. But you can see in these photos we have seen the same guy in multiple photos over here, and that is a very good idea. So once you start searching for photos and you get to see different photos but of the same person, normally I like to go for photos like that. Okay, so that's what I intend using. So I click on the guy and we have him over here, and I just make it bigger because I want to make my first slide and second slide seamless. Okay, so I would pull it up like this. And another thing is I'm coming up with a whole series on how to create carousels on YouTube. Okay, so don't worry, even if you don't, or even if I'm rushing on certain things, with a series I would actually break down every single step. Okay, so this is just me walking you through how I design my carousels. So I would pop it this way and duplicate and click on this one, and okay, so you already have it here. So you saw what I did. I just had to crop the image and duplicate my page, and I have it here. Okay, so you can see what happened. We still have the same image, but that's not all I want to do. So I'll just undo the entire process again. So I cropped it and we have it like this, and I click on duplicate page. Okay, so this is what we have. So I click and hold shift and move it here. Okay, then I just use my arrow key so that I have it on the edge, then I pull it out. Okay, so I just have to make sure I don't overstretch. You realize now I'm increasing the size of it. Okay, so I don't have to overstretch it, and I right click and send it to back. Then still with my photo selected, I just lock the photo so that I don't move it around, else if I move it and I post it on Instagram, it wouldn't be seamless. Okay, so I just have to work on my titles, and I also love to add my lower thirds, as I call it. So I open the previous, I always do this, I open the previous post. Okay, and I just copy, come here and paste. Alright, so now I just have to find an interesting way to arrange my titles. Okay, so I reduce the size a little bit, and I will just bring this down. And what I can also do is I can duplicate this. Okay, I'll duplicate my title, and with the determinant over here I can just clear for Canva designers. So I'll just clear that, okay, so that we only have determinant, and I'll make it center, trim it a bit. So let me increase the size so that the trimming can be okay. Yeah, it can be clean, and I put it here. Okay, then for Canva designers I only need that, so I'll clear the determinant. Alright, and I can reduce it, okay, stretch it, so you get the idea what I'm trying to do. And I can make this bigger, okay, so that determinant will be the main word, okay. So I can put it here, and I can select both and bring it down a little bit. I can even do 0.3, which is still 3, okay, but I just love to add a 0.3 just to make it occupy space. That's what I like to do, and I'm telling you. So you can see this is what I have right now, and there are so many ideas I can do. What I can even do is I can even break this down, so determinant, okay, so I can also break it down like this, and in this case I can do it this way, and I can put a hyphen over here so that anyone will just know that they are continuing, or they are continuing words, okay. So I can put it this way, so 3 determinants, and I can put for Canva designers, and maybe I can also increase the size of this. You get it? But in this case it might be difficult to read, you can see, and the reason why I'm saying it might be difficult to read is because if you do not take care, you may not tell if this is one word. So just to create a contrast, or just to make it easier, I can make this yellow, okay, for anyone to know that it's one word. So determinant for Canva designers. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit of touches to it. I add my photo again, and I come to effect, and I would remove the background, so it would load. It will take some time to load. Okay, now it's done. So I would crop, and I would increase the size, okay. So the main idea is to just add some sort of special effect. So I increase the size, okay, and it needs to be close to perfect, okay. So I would use my arrow key to now shape these things, and you can see it's still not perfect, so I can stretch it from the bottom over here, just so that we can have something like this, okay. So I need to still stretch it more. Alright, so you can see even from here it's still not perfect, but since it's close to perfect, you may hardly even see it or even recognize it, okay. Nice one. So what I'll do is I'll bring this to the front, okay, then I would increase this, and I can bring for Canva designers, I can bring this one here, come to effect, and change the effect to hollow, okay. Then I reduce it, so this is how it's going to be like. And I can do the same thing for this one also. So determinant, and I come to effect, and I come to hollow, okay, then I just reduce it, okay. So this is one way you can do it, and the other way you can do it is I'll just undo everything, okay. So I duplicated it, okay, and I select it, I come to the transparency, then I just reduce the transparency for this one, so that even with this it's still easier for you to read. So I just duplicate this one also, I come to the transparency, and I reduce the transparency also, okay. So one way to also stay consistent with this is I use 23 for the transparency, so I can also use 23 for the transparency over here. You can see 23, Nice one. Now I come to my page 2. Usually what I'll do is I'll select this and I would click colors, okay, and I will pick a color from this. You can Canva's already done that for us, but I'll use the color picker I have over here. Then I would select this, so you can see it's still close to perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I come to my uploads and I would search for my gradient element, and this gradient element is one of the elements I use. Look, I use it almost in every design I make. Okay, so I'll just search for it. It should be somewhere here. So here it is. Okay, I select it and I rotate it to 90 degrees. Then I come to effects. In effect, I come to duotone. Okay, so I double click on any of the effects here. I click on shadows and I select the color I use for the background. I come to highlight, select the same color, and I click apply. Okay, so it should save. Okay, it's saying on save changes, and the reason why I want you to save is because if it's not saved and you start moving things around, it would undo everything, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, so now that it's saved, I can resize. Okay, now double click and I drag it up. Okay, so you can see over here what I'm trying to do. So with this, the main reason for doing this is to make sure we don't see the cutouts of our image. And I duplicate this, okay, and bring it to the top, so that it makes it very difficult to see the cutouts. Alright, so now I select both of both shadows and I group them to make it one single element, and I send it behind the text I have over here. So I just send it backward. You can see, then I select it and lock it. Now this is what we have. So I select my text, come to effect and remove the shadow, okay, because it had a shadow behind it. Okay, so I remove my shadows and I just take this off, and for this part, this is where I'm going to add the content, okay, the main meat of it. Okay, most of the time what I like to do in terms of adding the the main content is using my secondary font, which is Montserrat. Okay, so I press T on my keyboard, come to the typeface and I select Montserrat. Alright, so I'm going to type out my content. So it's and I realize it's all caps, so I come here and I turn this thing off, you understand, and I'll delete this one for now. So I see V. Okay, so this is the first few words I want to add here. I come here and I reduce the line spacing. Okay, then I change the alignment to right, because my image is here, I don't want it to interfere, so I just change the alignment and I reduce the size. Okay, then one thing I always do, so I select everything here, right click, send to back. Okay, so I just come here and duplicate this and duplicate it here. Then I can just duplicate this page, and this time around I'm going to take everything I have here off. So I just unlock and take it off. Okay, then I send my text here, so that this is to the right, and when you swipe it's coming here, so this will be to the left, you understand, so that it wouldn't be too far from each other. You get it? It's all part of the experience. Okay, but just in case you're wondering why I keep looking to the left, is because I have my right tab here. Okay, and that's the main reason. Alright, so I center this, okay, because it's centered, so you have to make sure if your text is centered from the beginning, just make sure you keep that. That's one way you can also be consistent. Consistency doesn't always mean posting daily. It also means sticking to a particular style. Okay, so that's also a way you can be consistent. Alright, so now I move to the next page, and you can see I started with a photo and the photo continued here, and here there was no photo, but with the next slide I want to add a photo. Okay, so I come back and I use this one, so I'm going to use the second image I have over here. So I duplicate and I would select one of these images, because we can see that it's the same guy but doing different stuff. Okay, so I select this one and I would increase the size because I want to make it seamless. That's the idea. Okay, so I would want to divide him into two, or I would want to divide the image into two equal parts. Okay, so I'm going to use this thing over here, this indicator or the marker. I don't know, I don't have a precise name I give it, but I'll just call it a marker. Okay, and you can see that once it's divided into two equal parts, there's this purple line that shows. If I leave my mouse, you'd see that it would vanish, but you can see there's this purple line showing, and if I leave it, it's gone. So I just duplicate the page. Okay, so I crop it down and I duplicate the page and I click. Okay, I click first, hold shift and move it. All right, nice one. Okay, so now I have my text here, and also have to make sure I edit them, else I would forget. Sometimes when I was starting out, it was one thing I usually do. I keep forgetting. Once I duplicate the pages, I forget, and one message gets to appear on two pages. Okay, so what I'm going to do again is to select this and duplicate. Okay, it was locked, so I unlock it and duplicate it, and I lock it again, and I come here and I paste it here. Okay, so I would rotate it. Okay, rotate 180 degrees. Okay, and I move it, and I will right click and send it to the back. All right, so the idea of this is, because this is a plain background, I wanted to move into the photo. Okay, that's why I'm doing this. Okay, nice one. So I have my text here and I'm going to change it, and I would say you have, and I'll duplicate this and I'll say, is that all it takes? Okay, and for this one I would want to use a script, so I'll search for Brittany. Okay, that's one of my favorites script fonts. Okay, I really love it so much, and I'll make it bigger so that it's easier to read, at least. So is that all it takes? And coming to the next slide. Okay, now I position this here, so you can see when my image is on the right, I position my text to the left. If my image is on the left, I position my text to the right. Okay, and that's the main idea. So you have all the designing tools and gadgets. Is that all it takes? Then here is also saying that you're a part of a community of designers, and the question is, does being a part, does it really make you a good designer? It's a very tough question. Okay, so does that make you a good designer? Okay, because some people might think because they are part of a community, they are also designers, but usually that's never the case. You get it? Yeah. Okay, now I'm getting into the point where I have to give some points. Okay, some tough points. So I click on new page. I always duplicate my lower third, as you can see over here, and I want to make sure you can see the color over here is matching to this. So I have this page selected, click on the plus and use the color picker. If you are not seeing the color picker, it's because you are using the web version, and I think for now it's only available in the desktop app of Canva. So with that, you can find the link in the description so that you can get the desktop version. Okay, so I select this. Okay, yeah, so now that we have this, all I'm going to say is enough of the talks. So with that, I want to use a strong font to do that, so that it would actually make you know that I'm very serious about what I'm about to talk about. So I make it stronger, I put in, I would say, enough of the long talks, and I center it. Then I would use this here, and I'll say swipe for some swipe left for some tips. Okay, so maybe what I can even do it, I can put this here and make it bigger. Then I select all of it and center it. You get the idea? Yeah. All right. So determinant number 1. And how do we do this? So I select my lower third, paste it over here, and I would select this and paste it also over here. And with this also, we have to find an interesting style. Okay, so what I usually do is I just love to add a shape. Okay, and I'm going to use the yellow because I started using yellow from the beginning. Okay, so it gives me the chance to use yellow. But if, let's say, I didn't use yellow from the beginning, I can use white for my shape, and with the main text I would use the color I have in the background. Okay, yeah. So I'll say speed. That's the first determinant of a good designer. You should have speed. You should be able to design with speed. You understand? It's very important. Like, a lot of people really look down on this, but it's very, very important. Speed, and maybe reduce the size a little bit. Then I can pull it over here. Then what I can write on the top is determinant number 1. Okay, so determinant number 1. Okay, then I align. Okay, so you get the whole concept. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to type out all the text here, so I'll speed up the process of myself typing. Okay, alright, so I come here and I search for speed. Okay, in element, and I search for speed. Okay, oh, what did I do? Speed. Alright, so I select this and I'll position it here, and I change the color to white. So the reason why I get to be adding this element is also give a graphical representation of what I also mean. Okay, then I just duplicate the page, and I have over here determinant number 2. So over here the second one is strength. Okay, STRENGTH, strength, and I put this and align it here. Then I change this to strength. Okay, so you can see what I have. I reduce the size and move it here, change the color to white. Okay, and I would also speed up because I have to edit this one, so I speed up the process. Fantastic. And I just duplicate and I add my determinant number 3. Okay, and I select this, and my third determinant is knowledge. LEDGE. So with this, you can see it's a long word, so I reduce the size of it. Okay, then I can delete this, come here and search for knowledge, and I will select this one and change the color to white, and just resize it. Also position it here. So you can see what we have over here. So I select all, and I will speed up the process for this one also. Okay, then usually I just add my call to action. That's the last page, and with my call to action, I love to make it consistent in terms of all my carousels. Okay, so usually the color is blue. Okay, that's the color, and I will just go to my previous carousel, select all the design, copy, and I come here and paste it. Okay, so because of what I have posted so far, what I can say is you I can ask a question. One question I can say is, do you know of any other determinants? And that's very simple. And this is how I get to be designing my carousels inside of Canva. I've taken you through, my thought process, on how I get to design carousels. And it's similar to any other carousels I've designed earlier, and even the future is going to be similar. So yes, this is what I wanted to show you, how I do my stuff in Canva, and I hope you learn some one or two ideas or tips from here. And that's it. The name is Benjamin, and I would see you in my next tutorial.